This call is now being recorded.
Hi, my name is Ayanthi Gunawardana, and I'm with BuddhaSport.com in the Spirit of Combat. And on the phone today, I'm very fortunate to be speaking with the man, the myth, the legend, and the coolest guy in Homedale, New Jersey, Renzo Gracie. Renzo, how are you doing today?
Oh, great. Thank you. That's a beautiful introduction. I should have hung around you more often. Thank you.
No problem. So, are you one of the founders of the Jiu Jitsu Expo?
Yes, actually it was me and Junior. We got together, a friend of mine, and we were able to put the first expo ever on Jiu Jitsu last year. And I don't know how we did it. It was 2 months that we had to work on it, and it was very successful. We have over 8,000 people walking through those doors, and we had unbelievable competition. We had super fights. We had a live pay-per-view. It was insane. But this year we had the whole year to prepare. We put everything together. And it was such a success that we already had sponsors right off the bat to cover all the expenses. And this year we have for 2 days, and I know for a fact that we're going to have at least the double amount of people that we had last year.
Wow. Okay, so to backtrack a little bit, what led you and Junior to create the Jiu Jitsu Expo?
I do believe I always went to the UFC Expo, to the Arnold Expo, and I really thought that our industry really needs. We're growing as companies like clothes companies and apparels for the sport, and they do need an expo to exhibit the products and their knowledge on the business that we are. And it really took off. It was amazing, like how fast we were able to sell all the booths, all the spots and all the fighters. For you to have an idea, when we opened for people to sign in for the competition for 16 people Grand Prix that we're building, we had over 180 people applying for it. It's
wow.
Like we're talking about, it was insane. We had to pick the best fighters from 180 applications that we received, to have the 16 fighters. We have super fights with stars of the sport like Marcos Almeida, Bochecha. We have Gracie fighting. We have John Fitch. John Fitch is fighting Paulo Miao, one of the best jiu-jitsu lightweights out there. We have Bruno Malfacini, Lucas Leite, Keenan Cornelius. So we have the biggest Jeff Glover. We have the biggest names on the sport, coming to fight for the Expo. We have a lot of guys coming straight from China, from fighting the Abu Dhabi competition, straight into the Expo, to show their skills.
So now, if I have this correct, the Expo, you have all these, clothing and jiu-jitsu companies showcasing their stuff. You have the super fights, you have the free seminars, and you have the tournament. Is there anything I'm missing that's going on?
Oh, they're going to have meet and greet, like you're going to be able to meet Rickson Gracie, Royce Gracie, Big John McCarthy, our champion Carlos Conant. I really admire that guy. We're going to meet Lyoto Machida, former UFC champion, Roger Gracie, me. I'll be there everywhere, so feel free to meet and greet me anywhere you see me. They can come and ask for a picture. It's always a pleasure. We have Hero and Hannah Gracie. We have Ricardo Libori, Dean Lister. And we're going to have an open tournament. We're going to have Caio Terra will be there, Ricardo Almeida, big dog, the Mendes brother, Marcos Almeida, Suzumu Nagao, the original photographer for the MMA, like the guy. I remember when I was 16, 17, I met him back in Brazil, already interested about taking pictures of MMA fights, and he'll be there doing an exhibition. We're going to have Marcelo Alonso, the creator of the Tatami magazine. We're going to have the Jiu-Jitsu Awards. We're going to have the Grand Prix. We're going to have the photo exhibition, and we're going to have the open tournament. It's going to be open for men and women. Last year we had almost 500 competitors. This year we expect to double that number. So it's going to be everything about Jiu-Jitsu under one roof.
Now, one of the really cool things you mentioned was the photography, because people think of jiu-jitsu photography, I think they think of maybe IBJJF tournaments and Metamoris, but in reality, jiu-jitsu has a lot of its roots in stuff like Vale Tudo. Are those the kind of pictures and images people can expect to see?
Oh, yes. They're going to see pictures of everything. Like Suzumu is going to be exposed. He's going to be showing the first pictures that Royce fought in the UFC. Like he's gonna show the first matches in Pride back in Japan, Pride 1, Pride 2, Pride 3. You know, he always puts out there an unbelievable show with the picture that he put it. You know, and and for the fact that we believe MMA is actually the professionalization of the amateur sports like jiu-jitsu, wrestling, judo. So this is normally when you have reached your prime and you achieve everything you had in your amateur sport, that's where you go to build your career. You know, it's MMA. So we always thought that both are very connected. You know.
And another thing I saw a couple of days ago was there are 16 brown belts, right? And they're doing like a big tournament.
Yeah, that's going to be the Grand Prix. That's where we had to pick up from 180 guys. We picked the top 16 guys to fight on that one.
Now, so those 180 people applied and you picked the 16 out of that 180?
Yes.
Okay.
You know,
so now
we pick the best people by the ranking and by the IBJJF standards. We got them.
Is it an open weight?
I'm sorry? It's open weight, yes.
Is it an open weight? Okay.
Yes.
And does the winner get anything, or is it just a medal?
He'll receive a prize for sure. For sure.
Oh.
We're working on that right now for them.
Yeah, because I was looking at the brown belt, the brackets, and they're just like totally set. Those are definitely the best brown belts in the country right now, so I can only imagine what you had to search through to pick those guys.
It's hard, let me tell you. It's so many good people nowadays. I still remember when I used to go to a competition and have only one fight. You know, to do it. And normally it was not even on my weight because they didn't have nobody on my weight. I was too skinny. You know, and it's been an unbelievable ride. And to see the sport grow like this, it makes me proud to be able to give them an expo that they can showcase their skills.
And I know last year you had some problems with I think it was Nick Diaz not showing up for his fight with Braulio. Have you been able to sort of?
Yeah, this was a situation in reality that I was against from the beginning. And my partner really thought that was the fight, but it's very difficult to get a good MMA guy to fight a top jiu-jitsu guy on a jiu-jitsu game. If it was the other way around, it would be better for Nick, for Diaz. So in reality, I really believe it's not fair even to match them like that. Because that's their professional game is jiu-jitsu, is grappling. You know, and they compete and they keep sharp the whole year. So it's the MMA guy normally is training boxing, he's training wrestling, he's training a variety of things that, you know, puts him behind on the just grappling game. And I was against that fight from the whole thing. And you know how Nick gets nervous and insecure sometimes. He's very intense, and you know his heart is always 100 miles an hour. It's a great kid. You know, you can't claim he was afraid of fighting. I don't believe he was. You know, he started realizing that it was a mismatch under those rules. You know, if it was an MMA rule, I would bet on Nick, but on that situation, Braulio would for sure win that match. And you know that ended up, I think, building up in Nick, and Nick had to leave. You know, so I end up without main event.
Well, this year it looks like you have a lot of good super fights. And still speaking about the expo, as you said, you were almost expecting double the number of attendees and competitors this year. And since you're probably one of the only Gracies, if not the only Gracie on the East Coast, do you think that you'll ever be able to bring the expo to the East Coast or have it maybe on both coasts in 1 year?
My dream is to have it once a month in a different state. You know, so this one gets stronger, and for sure I want to bring this to New York. You know, it's an unbelievable event, and in reality we can set up like a circus that we're going to have once a month. There will be no problem. And I'm looking forward to do something like this because if I'm able to achieve that, I'm able to touch as many souls as I can on this lifetime with the amazing art of jiu-jitsu. You know, it's an unbelievable tool, and it gave me so much that I want to give this to people. I think people who are touched by jiu-jitsu will never be the same again.
Yeah, I remember I was speaking to a guy who owns Storm, and I remember Alex Shum, and he said where he is now, there was no Renzo Gracie school, and he said, oh, Renzo, like, there's no Renzo school, how can I train? And you said, you know, I don't care if you're training with me, just train as long as you're learning jiu-jitsu, that's good enough for me.
Yes. Like I remember he went to Hong Kong and he couldn't find a school connected to us. He goes, I'm gonna stop training. I said, don't you dare to do that. I want you to keep training, and I want you to keep, and any problem you have, you send me a video or you call me, and I will try to fix it for you if I can, if I have the knowledge to help you with that. You know, and he's been training ever since, you know. He just sent me a text message. You mentioned him, and he just sent me a text message like an hour ago. Great guy, great friend I had. You know, he's the guy he's one of the expositors in the expo. He's going to be at expo with his booth, of the Storm booth will be there. You know, and we always build for him a huge booth because he's been with us since the beginning of my moving here to New York 18 years ago.
Awesome. Now, speaking of New York City and jiu-jitsu, you were one of the first, I think you were the first person to bring jiu-jitsu to New York City. So you're the pioneer, but now there's a lot of other guys in New York. You have Shaolin, Marcelo, Alliance. Tell us what it's been like seeing the jiu-jitsu scene grow in New York.
It's unbelievable. I still believe we don't have schools enough. We should have more schools there, you know. And like every time someone, because right now I have a very large school. Like we have over 1,300 students, and we have 30,000 square feet. I think, no, I'm sorry, 30,000, no, 16. I have 16. My dream is to build a 30,000 one. That's what it is. I'm already thinking I have one. You see how it is? How my mind works? That's positive thought. So it's 16,000 square feet, and we have 1,300 students. And a lot of times people don't like that big of a thing. They like to train in smaller gym. And even when they come to me and they tell me this, I send them to Shaolin. I send them to Marcelo Garcia, you know. I do believe that at least 75% of their students was my student at one point. And I'm very glad these kids came and they're teaching. They're, you know, helping jiu-jitsu grow. They are unbelievable kids. I had the chance to see them growing from white belt until the black belt. And they are very talented, very great teachers, and very passionate for what they do. And I'm very glad that those are the good guys that came to New York to teach you know.
Absolutely. You know, there are people now that make training trips to New York, and they'll drop in at your school and Shaolin's and Marcelo's and Alliance, and it's like you could probably spend a month in New York, if not more, training at all these schools.
It's true. You know, they have this amazing...
And now,
in New York, it's the best. I call New York the crossroads of the world. It's like it's the crossroad right there. That is the corner of the whole world meets, you know. And everybody. This was one of the reasons that I was able to leave Brazil and move to America, was because when I came here, I realized that I have Brazil in New York, I have England in New York, I have Australia in New York, I have Italy in New York, I have China in New York. So I say I'm in the world. I'm in the small world. Being in New York, and I fell in love, and I decided to move here right away.
Now, speaking about your school, there are a lot of the MMA fighters that represent the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu or Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu name trained at the New York City school. And recently, you had 3 Gracies fighting at World Series of Fighting. And you had 1 win and 2 losses. Do you want to talk about the Gracies and how they've been doing in MMA and what we can expect?
Yes, I have unbelievable array of fighters now there. We have every training session, I have over 40 people training. You know, a lot of good kids who are great promises, and for sure in the near future they will be shining. And I was very fortunate to have 5 Gracies under my roof, living with me right now and training with me. And these boys, for sure, if they don't become star fighters, they will become star teachers. You know, they will master the art. They will know everything that is supposed to know about it, and they will be able to forge unbelievable people in the near future. You know, this is our business. We don't just sell jiu-jitsu. We sell confidence. We sell knowledge to make people better. You know, and for sure they will master that.
Now, you had expressed interest in coming back to the UFC and fighting. Why do you want to get back into the octagon and fight? You know, you're in your 40s, you have a successful school, you don't need to fight for the money. Why enter the octagon again? And if you don't enter the octagon again, do you think you'll ever do jiu-jitsu competition again?
Oh, I will for sure. If I don't, I will compete. I plan still to compete in jiu-jitsu a couple more times too. I love it. But the main reason that I want to fight, you know, this time it's not about money. It's not about proving something. It's not about trying to be on the spotlight. I'm doing because I love it. And there's no better reason in life for you to do something than because you love it, you know. And I really love the sport. I love to do it. I love it, the feeling of measuring myself against someone else, you know. And even if you, because I believe that I'm in a situation that even if you don't win, you learn. So there's no losing. Or you win the fight or you learn. And with that, you know, it's a driving force to push me to get better myself so I can better others. You know, every time I step in there, I walk out as a better man and as a better teacher with better knowledge of life. You know, it's a great proving ground for you to test your skills and everything that you believe in.
And I know we've only got a couple minutes left, but one last thing. You have a lot going on. You're not teaching much. I know you're managing the school. So when you're not doing things like managing the school and doing the World Jiu Jitsu Expo, what other things are on your schedule work-wise?
Oh, man, I keep my wife very busy. I keep her under pressure all the time. Stealing kisses from her every time I have a chance. You know, I'm very attached to my kids, you know, and I actually, you say I'm not teaching. A day before yesterday, I was teaching my son for 2 hours in our basement on zebra mats that we have down there. And yesterday, I was teaching the class at the Humboldt Academy here in Jersey. And tonight, I'm teaching at my New York school. So basically, teaching is what I love. And when I'm not doing this and building what I have been building, you know, the successful schools and unbelievable fighters, I like to sit down, watch a movie, read a good book, and enjoy my memories. Even to sit down by myself and think about all the things that happened and the amazing life that I had until now. That alone is great company.
Well, I think they said I had about 20 minutes, so we're just about out of time, but I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. You know, you've been a huge influence in jiu-jitsu on the East Coast in New York. You're really dedicated to spreading the art, and I can't wait to see what comes of the Jiu-Jitsu Expo, and I can't wait to see it come to New York eventually.
Oh, thank you, my princess. It was a pleasure talking to you again, huh? Thanks for everything.
Yeah,
thanks for having me here.
No problem. And next time I'm back home in Homedale on break, I want to see you at Dearborn Farms. That's my goal, to run into you at Dearborn.
I will. Instead of Dearborn, you come on over to the house and we have a Brazilian barbecue there. You, my wife, my kids, and everybody. I will cook for you guys. Okay?
No, it sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All the best. Nice talking to you.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Good talking to you. Bye-bye.